Okay, so let's talk about something that's just confusing. Supplements. Suddenly you hit 50 and the algorithm starts hitting you hard. Ads for things you can't pronounce from influencers who look like they're 25 telling you what you need to be taking, and all your friends are suddenly experts. One's on turmeric, one's on magnesium, another one's spending a fortune on something called NMN, right? Which is the big new kind of celeb hyped supplement. We've all heard the old saying from skeptical doctors, right? That most supplements are just a fast track to creating really expensive urine. So what is the truth when it comes to supplements? Are we all just wasting our money? I've been looking into this and I want to break down what we actually might need in terms of supplements and what we might need to think about. And yes, we're absolutely going to tackle the big one, the anti-aging wonder supplement that is NMN. Now I'm taking it in this form. I'm taking it in other forms, but right now I'm taking it in this form. So grab a cup of your favorite chai and let's dive in. First things first, the food first approach is and always will be the gold standard. A good balanced diet. Yeah, we've heard it all before. It's your primary weapon. Nothing in a bottle is going to replace a plate full of fruit, veg, and lean protein. Eat your greens. But, and this is the bit we don't often talk about, the case for supplementation after 50 isn't really about enhancing a good diet. It's about compensation. The way I've started thinking about it is we kind of have an aging tax. It's a series of little annoying psychological changes that just happen and accelerate. They're not a failing, it's just, biology. And this tax just means our bodies get less efficient at pulling all that good stuff out of our food. There are three main sort of taxes we have to pay. There's the absorption tax, right, which is your stomach acid. As we get older, many of us produce less stomach acid. So we need that acid to kind of release certain nutrients from that food that we're eating. And the big one that it affects is vitamin B12. I think there's B12 in this, which is these T vitamins. They've got like 3, B6, folic acid and B12. It's that kind of thing. Next one is the production tax, sunlight. Our skin just gets less efficient at making vitamin D from sunlight. So even if we're not out and about, and, if you're in the middle of a UK winter where it just seems to be constantly grey and wet as today, we're just not making what we're used to. It just gets harder. Vitamin D and stuff like that, this D3 and K2 is good. Next is the medication tax, the etc. A lot of us are on long-term necessary medications. Yeah, hands up. I take something for my prostate, nothing major, but I have to keep taking it. And some of the most common ones, like the little purple pills for acid reflux, PPIs, they're designed to suppress stomach acid. And this then just doubles down on the absorption tax, making it even harder to get that B12 that I talked about. When we talk about, supplements like all of these, it's not about topping up. It's about finding a way to bypass these new, annoying age-related roadblocks. I try to be careful what I eat, but at the same time, I want to enjoy myself. If I took all of these that I've got here, I've got loads of them. If I took all of these, every time I walked, I'd sound like maracas. Okay, so based on that aging tax theory, I've put together a sort of no-nonsense tier list for supplements. So we'll go from the non-negotiable right down to the kind of, hold your horses a minute. So first up, the non-negotiable is definitely, I reckon, vitamin D. So this is D3 and K2 from Prime Male. It's very simple. This isn't hype. It's official UK policy that we should be taking vitamin D because we just don't get enough sunlight. We don't absorb enough sunlight. The Department of Health recommends that adults take about 10 microgram during the autumn and winter. Yeah, this is 100 micrograms. Plenty of them in there. So there you go. But for those people in at-risk groups, which specifically includes people over 65, so much older, the recommendation is to take that level of supplement all year round. No harm, I reckon, in taking vitamin D3 all year round. Especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. So why vitamin D? Well, there are two huge reasons for our demographic. Number one is bone health. You can eat all the calcium in the world. You can be drinking all that milk, but your body cannot absorb it without vitamin D. It's the key that unlocks the door. So taking vitamin D and calcium together has been shown to reduce things like hip fractures. Now, hopefully that's not something I'm going to be suffering, touch wood, till I'm a bit older, but there you go. The other one is muscle function, and this is the one we forget. Vitamin D is vital for muscle health. Stronger muscles mean better stability. Better stability means a lower risk of falling. And I've mentioned before on this channel, your muscle deteriorate at a much faster rate the older you get. If you want to keep fit and you keep building your muscles, or at least maintaining your muscles, then you need that vitamin D. So the verdict on this is that taking vitamin D is not just a way of making expensive urine. This is a foundational, evidence-based, government-recommended supplement. So there you go, vitamin D. The next one is vitamin B2, okay? Now this one's a fascinating one. I mean, all the vitamin Bs I think are quite... So remember that aging tax, the reduced stomach acid and the PPIs I mentioned? It means that you can be eating a diet rich in meat, fish and eggs. I have eggs every morning, like 3 eggs at least, minimum 3 eggs every morning. Not enough fish, arguably, but you can still be severely deficient because your body simply can't absorb it from the food that you're taking as you get older. It affects about 1 in 10 people aged 75 or over. So yeah, the older you get, the harder it is. The symptoms of B12 deficiency aren't just feeling a bit tired. They have severe neurological and cognitive symptoms, problems with memory, understanding and judgment, fusion, and even dementia-like symptoms. So yeah, B12, super, super important. Then you've got depression, pins and needles, balance problems, muscle weakness. I mean, the list just goes on. Let's read that list again. Memory loss, confusion, balance problems, depression. Oh my God, what does that sound like? It's a near perfect overlap with what we're all terrified of and what so many people tragically dismiss as just, oh, I'm getting older, or the start of an irreversible disease. This is why B12 deficiency is called a great mimic. It presents as an irreversible problem, but it is often very reversible. So the verdict on B12, which is in this one here, loaded with some other stuff in here, as I say, it's got vitamin A, vitamin E, B1, B2, B3, B12, folate, biotin, zinc. This is packed with stuff, so that's why I take these. So yeah, B12 really important. Now the case here isn't for everyone to start blindly popping B12. The case is for sort of mandatory testing. If you or anyone you love over 50 starts showing that kind of cognitive fog, memory issues, balance problems, why don't you get a B12 test from your doctor and see whether they need a B12 supplement and stuff like that? I've always found taking vitamin B, whether it's B6 or B12 and stuff, does kind of help relax you and certain sort of fight off anxiety. Okay, so now we come to tier 3, the multivitamins. And, despite saying B12 is in here, this is effectively a multivitamin. It's got so many, as I said, it's got vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D3. So doubling up on a vitamin D here, vitamin E, K2, B1, B2, B3, B6, folate, B12, biotin, iron, iodine, magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, magnesium, chromium, everything. It's got everything in this. Okay, so now we're getting back to the expensive urine debate. For years, big studies have found that a daily multivitamins didn't really do much to stop the big killers like heart disease or cancer. However, the narrative has started to pivot. A huge high-quality set of studies called the Cosmos trials, which involved over 5,000 people aged 60 and up, found something quite striking. They weren't looking at cancer and stuff like that. They were looking at cognition, and they found that daily multivitamin improves memory and global cognition. The effect was quantified as effectively reducing cognitive aging by as much as 2 years. Better than nothing. The new theory is that while a multivitamin might not be powerful enough to stop a complex disease like cancer, no one's claiming that, it might be enough to support a very high energy organ, the brain, which is valuable to all those tiny sort of subclinical micronutrient deficiencies as we age. Whilst the case is weak for general health, it is emerging as genuinely promising for cognitive specific support. So definitely multivitamins is a maybe that is leaning much more towards that kind of, Yeah, okay. Interesting. So, yeah, look, it might be expensive urine, but there's no harm in taking your multiple vitamins. And that brings us to tier 4, the hold your horses tier. So let's talk about NMN, which is nicotinamide mononucleotide. Wow. Is that in here? Okay, this is nicotinamide riboside, which is a different version of that. This is the one, as I said, we've seen everywhere. It's championed by biotech gurus. There's some documentary I saw about a guy who's trying to stop aging, and he's like some sort of billionaire guy. It's something like a James Bond villain or something like that. But he takes so many supplements and, sits in an oxygen tank and all these kind of crazy things, like way, way out there. But yeah, he recommends NMN. And then you've got like people on podcasts. You've got Hailey Bieber, you've got Kendall Jenner, you've got Jennifer Aniston, you've got Joe Rogan. And they've all publicly discussed their use of NMN or similar NAD plus boosting therapies, which they claim helps with anti-aging and energy levels. But yeah, you can't trust celebs though, right? The claims are, well, they sound a bit science fiction. So what's the actual science between NMN and stuff like that? The body runs on a master coenzyme called NAD+, okay? And that's essential for creating energy and for cellular repair. These are like the engineers that keep your cells going and repair your cells and give you energy inside your body, okay? It's called NAD+. And as we age, as with anything, our NAD+, our little engineers, those levels plummet. And by middle age, they could be half of what they were in our youth. God, this is depressing. And this is considered a hallmark of aging. That's why we age, because our cells aren't generating at a fast enough speed. And the reason is because our DNA is constantly getting damaged. That's why, you've got to have these constant engineers and repair workers kind of fixing the machines in our body, the cell. First responder, the enzymes called PARPs, they rush to fix the damage and they use NAD+ as fuel to do that. And NMN is a raw material, a precursor that the body uses to make more NAD+. That's the science. So it makes sense. We just need to fill up like batteries. We just need to fill up the NAD+ with NMN and we're good. The therapeutic idea is very simple. Refill that tank. Give the cell so much NAD+ that it can both fund the emergency repairs and the longevity programs. That's it, yeah? The fountain of youth. Yeah. The fountain of youth in mice. So the reason stuff like this has got so much hype is that in mice, it's always the poor mice. The results were spectacular. I mean, insane. Long-term MMN in old mice suppressed age-related weight gain, enhanced energy, reversed insulin resistance, improved eye function, and mitigated cognitive decline. All of this is research. There's scientific papers on this, and I'll look at some of these papers later. In one 2017 press release, it famously claimed that after just 1 week of treatment, the cells of the old mice were indistinguishable from the young mice. Oh my God, it's a miracle. No wonder it's $1 billion industry now. But, and you knew there was going to be a but, didn't you? We are not 70 kilogram mice. Squeak, squeak. What happens when people take it? So first, the good news, right? It's safe. It's proven to be safe and well tolerated, and it conclusively boosts NAD+ levels in the blood. Brilliant. So it works in that it actually delivers the payload. The real question is, does boosting NAD+ do anything for us humans? And here the case sort of begins to fall apart slightly. One widely cited 2021 study did show a positive result. It improved muscle insulin sensitivity in postmenopausal women with pre-diabetes. That's a solid, good finding, yeah? Check this research paper out here. So this is from the National Library of Medicine. So this is a sort of government-backed thing. It's not sort of hype or anything like that. And it's a study into NMN, reliable NAD+ activator and anti-aging molecule. So as it says here, by middle age, our NAD+ levels have plummeted to half that of our youth. Numerous studies have demonstrated that boosting NAD+ levels increase insulin sensitivity, reverses mitochondrial dysfunction, and extends lifespan. Supplementing MMN may be an effective anti-aging intervention with beneficial effects on a wide array of psychological functions. Very positive. And it goes on, so to summarize here, NMN is clearly a murine fountain of youth. Shinichiro Imai has said that NMN may improve adult human metabolism, rendering it more like that of someone 10 or 20 years younger. Also, David Sinclair from Harvard University, he's taking NMN himself, and his lipid profile has improved dramatically, and he feels more energetic, and his blood markers at nearly 60 years old are closer to those of a 31-year-old. So pretty positive overall. There's another paper in Nature magazine. Cell and animal studies suggest that boosting nicotinamide mononucleotide, NMN, levels can alleviate or even reverse age-related conditions by stimulating NAD+ metabolism. But will these effects translate to humans? Various challenges face the development and delivery of NMN-containing products. Experts agree further studies on the regulation of NAD+ and the effects and its precursors are basically required. So yeah, as I said, there are certainly suggestions that there are some benefits, but still research to be had. I think overall, what you can say is more research is needed. The human data is, meh at best. Mice, if you're a mouse, absolutely. Get yourself some of this, no problem if you're a mouse. But for humans, still research to be done. But this is where it gets a little bit worse. The huge 2024 meta-analysis gave a damning expert conclusion. It basically said, our findings suggest that an exaggeration of the benefits of NMN supplementation may exist, i.e. celebrity endorsement and marketing hype. An independent 2021 analysis of the top-selling NMN brands on Amazon found that 64%, the vast majority of them, had less than 1% of NMN they claimed to be on the label. So the problem is people can just stick it on a label and all of that, but how do you know that every single tablet that you're taking has got enough NMN in it? That's always the problem with vitamins. This is why I take these ones actually, because they take a slightly different approach with this nicotinamide riboside, which is slightly different than the ones you get in the Amazon ones that I've taken. I've bought NMN supplements from Amazon. This is slightly different, and it's got extra things in it as well, and it's got some extra vitamins in there. And you take 6 a day, which is a bit of a pain in the butt, but at least you sort of increasing the chances of getting NMN into your body. The fact that a lot of these things are inconsistent in the levels of NMN means if you buy NMN online, you have at minimum a 64% chance you're buying a sort of, can I say a fraudulent product? Let's just say you just don't know the quality is in there because, there's not enough legislation on it. And the final nail is it's not actually legal in the UK. This is only a fact that really matters for us. I mean, the United States, and I think this is from the US, after a lot of legal drama, NMN was declared lawful as a dietary supplement. Here in the UK and the EU, the situation is the opposite and unambiguous. NMN is not authorized for sale as a food supplement. That doesn't stop people from selling it. It's just not authorized as a food supplement. The UK's Food Standards Agency classifies it as an unapproved novel food. So that's how they sort of get around it. This basically means the safety and efficacy file hasn't actually yet been approved. And that's not to say it's bad for you or anything like that. It's just not been approved. So any NMN you see for sale in the UK is non-compliant with FSA regulations. So here are my final thoughts. Let's go back to that original question. Expensive urine? Here's my final no-nonsense verdict based on all the evidence. Vitamin D, not an expensive urine. It's a non-negotiable, essential public health supplement for our age group in the UK. Get yourself vitamin D. Vitamin B12, not expensive urine. It's a critical diagnostic test you should be asking your doctor for to rule out a reversible cause of cognitive decline. Vitamin B is absolutely essential, and even if you have eggs like me in the morning. Multivitamins, maybe slightly more expensive urine for your body, but maybe worthwhile and a promising investment in your brain. So yeah, multivitamins, not a problem. NMN, arguably, this is worse than expensive urine. You have a greater than 64% chance you're just buying expensive nothing. Needs more research, but that hasn't stopped the marketplace jumping on it. And for us in the UK, it's not even an authorized supplement. Now, on the flip side, I've had no issue taking this, and I'm always interested in trying things out. I have an open mind. The case for NMN is compelling. It is an exciting story, this fountain of youth, in mice. But for humans, it's not quite ready yet, I'd say. Early evidence suggests it could be beneficial. We just need more research before scientists will stamp their name on it. Meanwhile, marketing companies and celebs have jumped on it. They could be right, or they could just be cashing in, or both. It's just too early. However, as I said, I felt no downsides in taking this. The only problem is having to remember to take 6 across the day. Most NMN supplements you might get from Amazon is just like a single pill or take 2 in the morning. This, you have to take 6 across the day, which I guess increases the chance that you are actually getting NMN in your bloodstream and all of that. And I did notice better sleep patterns, faster beard growth. I'd say hair growth, but I shave my head, and more energy. I'm not saying that's scientific. It's more just anecdotal. And I'm not sure whether that was just a placebo effect or anything like that. So will I keep taking this? I'm not sure. There is an expense to factor in here. Does the value I get from this in terms of my health, does that justify the expense? Especially if you're early retired like me and living on a frugal lifestyle, a frugal budget in order to be early retired. It suddenly becomes quite expensive. But there you go. I'll leave it to you. If you are interested in where I got any of these supplements, then I'll leave a link down below. But as ever, do your own research, check it out. But definitely B12, D3, possibly multivitamins, highly recommend. NMN, the verdict is still out. But the real supplement, the one that is free, is the one that we already know. And it's the food first approach. It's getting out for a walk. It's exercise, which, by the way, has been shown to boost NAD+ in your muscles without any pills. So there you go. And the shortcut, the easy way, is often too good to be true. It's sleep, it's laughter, it's treating this whole new chapter of post-50 life as the adventure it is. That's my take, but I really want to know yours. What's your experience with supplements and all of that? Have you been tempted by the NMN hype on all of that? Or have you found something that's simple, like vitamin D, that's made a real difference to you? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Let's be open-minded about it. Let's see, what works for some might not work for others. Put it in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this video, then please hit the likes, because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content just like this. And if you're new to my channel, then do me the great honor, please. Can you hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I go live with videos just like this. Talking videos just like this, why don't you check out the videos here? These ones here. Thanks for watching. Cheers.